Everyone in our scene is mostly a casual. Like, they picked up...
Cut!
Hold on.
How did the melee scene here first start?
Well, for me, I went to the Facebook page and I found out that it actually existed. And so I went to one of the tournaments, and I was kind of disappointed in the hype around Melee. There was only a couple people that were actually super enthusiastic about it, and I won the first tournament that I went to, so that was also kind of a letdown in a way, surprisingly, because I wanted there to be some decent people there.
What year was this, or like what month was it when you first started here? Was this before it was a club?
Yeah, this was during the time that the Gamers Club owned the Smash Club. So it was like the beginning of the school year in 2015. And I decided that I kind of wanted to help out the Melee scene here. So there was a couple people who wanted to host a couple games things here in the room that we're in right now for Melee. And I decided to keep that tradition. I brought a GameCube and I got some supplies from around people to bring into the locker that we keep here. And over the time, since that time last year, we've been improving our Melee skills, getting better. A lot of people have actually gotten a lot better, so it's kind of what I wanted from the group.
That was so nervous. Oh, no catch!
Is that it?
Yeah.
That's the first peach I've won against. PG, I lose all my peaches.
Yeah.
All peaches. You have anything to say, Chris? Like how Smash 4 players are casuals?
Well, they are.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's a Melee and Smash 4 divide in lots of communities, but it's particularly strong in Kamloops. Why do you think this is the case?
You.
Oh, like, okay, yeah, can you elaborate?
Barney Mundi. No. I think there's a pretty big divide in our community because everyone in our scene is mostly a casual. Like, they picked up...
Cut!
Hold on. No, I'm getting to the point. They picked up Smash 4 because the game just came out, and they had never... Most people hadn't actually even played a Smash Bros. Game competitively before. And they find our scene, and they figure out about competitiveness, and of course they'll play Smash 4 because it's new and it's cool. And there's a bigger part of our scene that is designated to Smash 4. In the Melee scene, mostly it's people that have been playing competitively for a little bit longer than the Smash 4 people have. Myself and Tim, we've been playing Melee much longer than the Smash 4 people are playing Smash 4, or even Smash Bros. In general, other than our top player, or our second top player, who's been playing Brawl competitively.
Second.
Yeah, second. Next to Adam Dome. So, I'm not sure why there's that big of a divide, and I've been working to make it smaller. I've brought in a lot of new people from the Smash 4 community into the Melee scene.
This is a question about Melee in general. What are your thoughts on how like the Melee Smash 4 divide? Because there's a clear divide, and there's lots of people that just prefer Smash 4. And what are your thoughts on just Melee in general?
Well, Chris will tell you quite readily that Melee is more popular for everyone else. I like Melee. I respect it as a game. Have a bit of a hard time playing it now because I feel like it's kind of broken, but you know, it's my own opinion. I don't know. I have a pretty underdeveloped opinion on Melee, mainly because it's not really something I do. As a portion of the admin team, I will definitely advocate its like presence in Kamloops Smash, but I'm not gonna. I don't know. It's there.
I just got based on that. It's there.
It's there. I will facilitate it being there, but I'm not going to probably participate in much of it. And I appreciate that Chris is like so adamant on it because passion's important.
Alright, Melee. Yeah, that's enough we need to say about this.
Melee's a good, it's okay, I wouldn't call it a good game. Like, it's obviously broken and it's not played how the developers were made to, but the way it's played is interesting, and it's like, you have to learn how to move properly in order to play the game efficiently. The whole, like, if everybody was friendly about it, like, I just said the same thing about toxicity, you need to be toxic to keep people coming back, but like, if you're not teaching people how to play the game properly and just being like, oh, get good, or wait, you play Smash 4? You're fag, kind of thing, right? Like, it turns a lot of people off the whole Melee scene, and especially in our community, that's what everybody says. Like, you know, everybody's just an elitist. Nobody wants to play it because they're not willing to like sit you down before you play a bracket and be like, hey, you should do this, you should do that, you know? Like, I don't know, fuck Melee, fuck Chris.
Oh, apparently it's relevant now with that fucking dress. Like, oh my god. Oh, that was oh no. Why would it DI that another time?
Weird. Is it better to have like less stocks in Melee, or?
That's like golf.
Huh. Weird. What'd you say about this Chris guy? He's on your right. He's this guy right here. What do you think about him?
Oh, he's great. He's got the least stocks.
Now, what are your feelings on Melee as a game, first of all? Just in general.
This is really interesting because I played Brawl competitively, which is already really strange to like a lot of people. But that was my first game that I got, and I like on the Wii, and I played that game competitively like throughout high school. So I used to see Melee back in the day when I used to play Brawl, and I didn't get it. It was really confusing to me. It didn't make much sense. I used to see videos on YouTube and everything was just so fast paced, and I'm like, why do people play this? Not so much that I hated the game, but it just looked so like foreign to me. And then when people wanted me to play it, I was just like, no way, because like it was just been so many years. I don't want to put in the skill level, and I just don't want to go there type of thing. But the thing was, when Chris was the one who started the Melee scene here at Kamloops, and he started Melee in the games room. So what's cool about that is when he first told me to play, he told me to try Melee out, and I told him like, I don't play this game like at all. Like I find it confusing, I find it like way too technical, and I just don't like it. But he got me to play, and right when it took me like 2 or 3 hours that same day, like we played for 3 hours just for me to get movement down. Once I broke that barrier of like movement and I was moving around fluidly, like it was a whole nother thing. Then I was like, yeah, I like Melee immediately. And I don't mind it. Like obviously Smash 4 is still my preferred game. But Melee, it's fun. Like I have to admit, like after a while, Melee is kind of fun to play. It's just very daunting. Like Melee is like daunting to get into, but if you try out Melee, work on your movement for a couple hours, and you finally like feel like you know how you're playing the game, then it's a lot better. And that's kind of why I was turned away from Melee too, because it's just like I don't like that aspect of just having one game as like all-encompassing, literally, and kind of ignoring every other game as lacking tech skill. And for that reason, I don't think the community is very welcoming to new players, because pretty much like Lachlan actually said in his interview earlier, like people don't tell you how to play Melee, they just play you, they dom you, and then they say get good, or they say something like, wow, go play another game, like a trash game. And it's just like, and that gets into the toxic thing too, like they need to be more accommodating, they need to like show how Melee works, and then definitely like for our, like I'll talk locally now, like our local Smash scene, once we started getting people to play Melee and not really dissing them, but just showing how it works, they started liking it.
What about Jimmer? Is he casual?
Oh, because he plays Melee. So he has respect.
Okay.
Alright, now one more thing regarding Melee and its scene. One of our Melee elitists said, anybody who doesn't play Melee is a casual. How do you respond to that? Where do you think he's coming from? Do you see where he's coming from?
I don't see where he's coming from. I think that was a complete, like, he epitomizes the Melee scene as a whole by that statement, because, like, pretty much, like, the Melee scene says that their game is superior and every game is trash. And that's, like, when Chris says everybody's a casual, he's trying to say that, like, Melee is the best, and if you don't play Melee, you don't have the same tech skill. Like, you could be playing Street Fighter, you could be playing Smash 4, it doesn't matter. Melee is the only game with tech skill. And when Chris says statements like that, it just kind of hurts, because it's like lots of other games take just as much skill as Melee, but they don't get the same attention.
hands aren't the size of Austin. Like,
Yeah, so you do 3.
like I don't slay women.
Look to